So the following factors contribute the Earth to become a habitat for living beings. So the presence of an atmosphere with favorable gases as well as water vapor congenial to living beings. So the atmosphere, for what is an atmosphere?
Yeah, around us.
Yes, atmosphere is around us. Yes, and what else? The composition of the atmosphere?
The ozone layer.
Yes, that's a layers. What is the composition of the atmosphere? There are several gases.
Oxygen, water
Yeah. What are the
vapor,
gases
carbon
available in
dioxide,
the
argon.
atmosphere?
Yes.
What are the gases available in the atmosphere? So oxygen, nitrogen, yes,
Nitrogen,
carbon dioxide.
Hydrogen.
Yes. Okay. You know.
Helium.
Yes, okay. So the atmosphere, there are many favorable gases and as well as the water vapor. So water vapor is congenial to living beings. Have you learned about the water cycle earlier?
Yes, teacher, in geography, 6 we did.
Yes, yes. Because of that, we discuss about the condensation. So condensation happens because of the water vapor. So water vapor rises up and it get condensed, and that's how the clouds form. So that is very important. And even in grade 7, we learn about the convectional rain. In that part also, the water vapor rises up and it forms clouds, and because of that we get rain. So these concepts are very important. And the existence of water. So what are the uses of water? Why water is necessary?
For drinking?
Yeah. Yes.
For drinking
For
and
cleaning.
sanitary purposes.
Yes. So you can see, yes, these things are which you learned in grade 6. So existence of water, the benefits of water, you know these things. So the receive water required for drinking and other activities, receive water for agricultural activities, and trees rejuvenate after rain, and receive water required by animals. So these things, so we need water because it's a basic requirement. And the prevalence of intermediate temperature. So earlier we discussed in unit 1, the earth is located in the habitable zone and we have intermediate temperature, not too high, not too low. So next, the occurrence of rotation and revolution. So due to rotation, we have day and night, and also we have regional differences in time, and due to revolution we have seasons. So these things we are going to discuss further in this unit. And the existence of gravitational force. So why this the gravitational force is important?
Because otherwise we will float into this
steady on the ground.
Yes. And also we learn in unit 1, due to this gravitational force, the moon orbit around this around the earth. Why? Because the gravitational force of the earth.
Earth is
Yes.
stronger than the moon.
Yes, okay. So, and also this gravitational force is important to form ocean tides. And we are going to discuss these things later in geography. Because of these things, the gravitational force is important. So, next we are going to discuss about the longitudes and latitudes. So, this part also we discussed in grade 7. So, what are longitudes and what are latitudes? So what do you know about these things? Yes.
Longitudes are the imaginary
Horizontal
lines
and
drawn
vertical
from
lines,
north to south.
imaginary lines have been drawn on the globe. Imaginary set of lines drawn by
Imaginary
Yes.
lines
Okay.
to
So you
identify
know
at a
places on the
specific
earth,
why
location.
we use these
latitudes
latitudes and longitudes?
horizontal.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Why we need to study these latitudes and longitudes? What are the uses we get from these imaginary lines?
It helps us to
Why can
Helps us to
location
locate
identify the
find
location of a
countries in
certain
the
place?
globe.
so we can
Mm-hmm.
identify place. To identify the
Grade
correct
7, you
location.
discuss about the
Find the
specific
time.
location. Okay. So, in order to identify a specific location, we need these longitudes and latitudes. By using these longitudes and latitudes, we use these coordinates in order to identify a specific location. So we need latitudes and longitudes. Also, we need these things in order to find the regional time differences. So because of that, these latitudes and longitudes are important. So latitudes and longitudes are a network of imaginary lines has been drawn
Excuse
on
me,
the
teacher.
globe. Yes.
Teacher, I had a
Yes.
problem with my team. Sap, can you tell the place we are right now, teacher? Anything to write also?
Okay. I'm in page 18. Yes. 19. Yes. Page 19.
Do we
Uh,
have anything to write, teacher?
No, I'm going to give you what you have to write in your writing book in a separate PDF, and I'm going to put it into your WhatsApp group. So there's nothing to write. What you have to know is the latitudes and longitudes. A network of imaginary lines has been drawn on the model globe to identify any place located on the Earth. So these lines are named as latitudes and longitudes. So the vertical lines we call it what?
Longitude.
Yes,
Longitudes.
vertical lines are longitudes, and what about the horizontal lines?
Latitude.
Latitudes.
Yes, latitudes. So latitudes are parallel, and longitudes runs from North Pole to South Pole. So next we are going to discuss about the latitudes in more detail. The latitudes, the imaginary lines that separates the north and the southern hemisphere of the geographical globe is the zero latitude known as the equator. So you have already learned these things. So equator divide the earth into two parts, the north hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. So the latitudes that run parallel to the equator in the northern hemisphere up to 90 degrees are identified as north latitudes, and the latitudes that run parallel to the equator up to 90 degrees in south hemisphere are identified as southern latitudes respectively. The circle of latitudes gradually becomes smaller when they are extended up to northern and southern poles. So ultimately it become a point in the south and north pole. So as you can see in the picture, so latitudes, the main latitude is the equator, and the equator divide the earth into two parts, the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. So the latitudes located in the northern hemisphere we call it north latitudes, and the latitudes located in the southern hemisphere we call it south latitudes. So next we are going to discuss about the longitudes. So the imaginary line on the geographical globe that extended from the North Pole to South Pole are called longitudes. So the zero longitudes that run across the city of Greenwich in England is called the Greenwich Meridian. So the longitudes that are located up to 180 degrees east from the Greenwich meridian are called the eastern longitudes, and those that extend up to 180 degrees west are called the west longitudes. But the longitudes 180 is considered as one, and it is not classified as western or eastern longitudes. So you need to know that the prime meridian is the reference point for longitudes, and it runs across the city of Greenwich, England. And the longitudes that are located up to 180 east from the Greenwich meridian are called the eastern longitudes, and those that extend up to 180 degree west are called the western longitudes. So these things you need to remember very carefully, because we are going to calculate time. So in order to calculate time, we need to know what are the western longitudes and what are the eastern longitudes. So there is a difference between time in western longitudes and the eastern longitudes. So you need to remember this part, the longitudes. And next we are going to discuss about the rotation of the earth. The movement of the earth around its own axis is called the rotation. The earth rotates from the west to east. So earlier we discussed that earth rotates from the west to east. So there are two planets that rotate from east to west. What are these two planets?
Venus and
Interesting.
Uranus.
Yes, Venus and Uranus. Yes, okay. So normally the earth rotates from west to east. So on this imaginary axis that run from the north pole to south pole, the earth axis tilt at an angle of 23.5 to the orbital plane. Due to the rotation of the earth, we see as if the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. The earth takes 23 hours and 56 minutes for a complete rotation around its axis, but the duration of a day of the earth is considered as 24 hours. So that you need to know. The earth rotates from west to east, and the imaginary axis that run from north pole to south pole, and the earth axis tilt at an angle of 23 and 5 to the orbital plane, and the duration of the rotation is 23 hours and 56 minutes. So we consider as 24 hours a duration of a day. So what is the meaning of rotation of the earth?
The movement of the earth around its own
movement of
axis.
the earth around
So
the
that you need to remember. So the rotation means the movement of the earth around its own axis is called rotation. So next, the rotation of the earth in the occurrence of day and night and the regional differences in time. So due to rotation, we have the occurrence of day and night. So we have day and night due to rotation, and the regional differences in time because of rotation of the earth. So occurrence of day and night. So we live in a round planet, so you can't have sunlight every part of the planet of the same time. So the rotation of the earth results in the occurrence of day and night and the regional differences in time. So while rotating, the half of the earth that receives the sunlight has daytime, and the other side that does not get sunlight has night time. So the solar energy reaching different part of our planets not constant, and parts of the earth lean towards the sun, other part of the it leans away. So that you need to know. Because of that, we have occurrence of day and night. And next, we are going to discuss about the regional time differences. So according to the location of the longitude, the time too differ in different places in the world. Observe figure 2.5 to understand how time change in the world. When the time is 12 noon on a longitude, the sun is overheaded. The time is 12 midnight on its opposite longitude. So when the time is 12 noon on a longitude, the sun is overheaded. The time is 12 midnight on its opposite longitudes. So the sun rises early in the countries located in the eastern part of the world as a result of the rotation of the earth from the west to the east. And the sun rises relatively late in western countries. This thing you need to remember. So the countries located in the eastern part, sun rises early in these countries. And the countries located in the western hemisphere, the sun rises relatively late. So as you can see in the picture, so Texas is a country located in the western hemisphere. So the sun rises relatively late in the western countries, and Bangladesh is located in the eastern hemisphere. So they experience the sun early than compared to Texas. So the sun rises in the east and sets in the west every day. But why does this happen? The earth is spinning on its axis. Because of that, we have sun rises in the east and set in the west every day. So there is another part. When the earth rotates around its axis once, it moves 360 degrees during 24 hours. So within 1 hour, it moves 15 of longitudes and requires 4 minutes to travel within 2 longitudes. Hence, the time between 2 longitudes differ by 4 minutes. Hence, there are time differences in different places on Earth according to the change of latitude. So in this, what you have to remember is 360 degrees equal to 24 hours. So this 360 degrees forms, there are 180 degrees which is located in the eastern hemisphere, and there are 180 degrees which is located in the Eastern hemisphere. So the western hemisphere and the eastern hemisphere, there are 180 degrees. So all together it forms 360 degrees. Or we can say the meridians are drawn between two poles. They divide the earth into 360 equal segments. So we have 360 degrees. So it takes 24 hours to complete one rotation. So it means 15 longitudes for 1 hour and 1 degree, it will take 4 minutes. So don't worry, I'm going to more clear with these informations. I'm going to clear it to you. So how do you calculate Earth rates of rotation? So one rotation is equal to 360 degrees. Time for one rotation take 24 hours. So what you have to do is you have to divide 360 by 24. So you get the answer as 15 longitudes. So how many degrees does the earth rotate in 24 hours? When the earth rotates around its own axis, within 24 hours, it passes 360 longitudes. So here you can find all the maths which is in here in your textbook. Hence, with the help of longitudes, we can calculate the time in different parts of the world. So find the number of longitudes that the earth rotates within 1 hour. You have to do is you have to divide the total number of longitudes, which is equal to 360, by total hours of the day. So how many hours per day? Yes. The total hours of the day? 24 hours. So in order to find the number of longitudes that the earth rotates within 1 hour, what you have to do?
Divide 360 by 24.
Divide by
Yes.
300.
Okay. So you get the answer as 15 longitudes. So this 15 longitudes is equal to one time zone. So this is called one time zone. So that part we are going to discuss further. What you need to remember is this 15 longitudes is equal to one time zone. So find the time taken to rotate between two longitudes. So let's find out how long will it take to rotate between two longitudes. So the total number of minutes per day. So how to find the total number of minutes per day?
24 times 60.
Yes,
24 times
yes.
24
Yes,
times
24 times into 60. Why? Because 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. So in order to find how many hours equal to minutes, what we have to do is we have to multiply 24 by 60. So you get the answer as 1440 minutes. So the total number of minutes per day is 1440 minutes. So the total number of longitudes, so how the total number of longitudes, what's the number? Yes.
360.
Yes, 360.
360.
So, yes, okay. So what you have to do is you have to divide this, the total number of minutes per day by total number of longitudes. So you get the answer as 4 minutes. So this 4 minutes is equal to the time taken to rotate between two longitudes. And next we are going to find the number of time zones the globe divide into. So the find the number of time zones the globe divide into, we have to do is total number of longitudes should divide by longitudes rotate per one time zone. Earlier I discussed with you that 15 longitudes is equal to one time zone. So there are 15 longitudes in a one time zone. So the total number of longitudes should divide by longitudes rotate per one time zone. So you get the answer as 24 time zones. So there are 24 time zones. So find the number of time zones the globe divide into. What you have to do is you have to divide 360 by 15. So you get the answer as 24 time zones. So in brief, you can say that 24 hours is equal to 360 degrees longitude. So this 360 degree forms 180 degrees east and 180 degrees west. So altogether it's 360, and 1 hour is equal to 15 longitudes. So within 1 hour it travels 15 longitudes, and time between two longitudes differ by 4 minutes. So the time between two longitudes differ by 4 minutes. This part also you need to remember. And the time between two time zones differ by 16 minutes, or we can say 1 hour. So 16 minutes come up with, we have to multiply 15 by 4. So the time between two longitudes differ by 4 minutes. So this 4 minutes is equal to the time between two longitudes difference. And this 15 longitudes is equal to the longitudes which travel within 1 hour. So in order to find the time between two time zones, what we have to do is we have to multiply 15 by 4. So you get the answer as 1 hour or 60 minutes. So hence there are time differences in different places on earth according to the change of latitude. So in here there is a map 2.1, standard time zone. So in this map you can find the longitudes and the variation of time. So this part we call Eastern Hemisphere, and the other part, the North America and South America, these continents are located in the Western Hemisphere. So what is the time zone Sri Lanka is in located? So where the Sri Lanka is located? What's the time zone of Sri Lanka?
UTC plus 5
Yes.
hours and 30 minutes.
Yes, 5 hours and 30 minutes. So that you know. Good. Okay. So rules to be aware when calculating the time of a country. First, know the Greenwich time. So in order to calculate the time, you need to know the Greenwich time. And next, know the longitude which passes through the relevant country. So in order to find whether it's an increase or a decrease, we need to find the longitude which passes through the relevant country. So let's say Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is located in which part?
Eastern longitudes.
Located in the eastern longitudes, eastern hemisphere or the eastern longitudes. So what about Texas?
Western hemisphere.
It's in Western Hemisphere. Okay. So likewise, you need to know which country located in which part. So by that, you can easily calculate the time. So know whether that longitude belongs to the east or west. So if it is a west, what you have to do? Time decrease towards west by 1 hour for each time zone. So time zones equal to 15 longitudes. So time decrease toward west by 1 hour for each time zone. And eastern longitudes, time increase toward east by 1 hour for each time zone. So this you have to remember. So the time increase towards east by 1 hour for each time zone, and time decrease toward west by 1 hour for each time zone. So the international date line is set based on 180 degrees longitude, and there is 1 day difference either side of this line. Okay. So the common time,
180 degrees longitude, that international date line isn't a straight line to avoid uh, disputes between different countries,
yes.
such as America and Russia.
Yeah,
And
that's what we are going to discuss in the
Pacific.
lesson. Yes. So good. You know these things. Okay. The common time accepted within one time zone, countries located within 15 longitudes, is known as a standard time. So
Excuse
what
me,
is
teacher.
yes.
In the countries on either side of the international dateline, their time should not be very different, no, teacher, because they are near each other.
No, we have a rule for that. That part I'm going to explain it further. So just listen to me very carefully, so you will get the answer for that question. Okay. So what is the purpose of dividing the world globe into different time zones to predict an internationally accepted time? So there are 12 time zones towards east from the prime meridian. When we calculate the time, we add 1 hour by each time zone towards east and increase time. And there are 12 time zones towards west from Greenwich prime meridian. When we calculate the time, we deduct 1 hour by each time zone towards west and decrease time. So I'm going to explain that part to you. For the example, suppose that the time at Greenwich City is 12 noon on Monday. From there, the time increased regularly towards the east till night. On this occasion, the time in Sri Lanka is 5:30 p.m. In the same manner, the time decreased regularly up to morning from Greenwich City towards the west. On this occasion, the time in the Texas in the United States of America is 6 a.m. According to this change, the time on international dateline is 12 midnight. So east to west, gain a day, and west to east, lose a day. So I'm going to discuss that part. So here there is another factor to be understood. According to the above example, when moving towards 180 degrees east from the zero longitude, the time is 12 midnight on Monday. When moving towards 180 degrees west, the time is 12 daybreak. So the morning has just dawned or 12 midnight on Monday. Therefore, when crossing the 180 longitude, the clock should be adjusted accordingly as there is a difference of 1 day on either side of it. So that's what I explained you earlier as well. See this picture, so you will get more clear about this thing that I'm going to explain it with the picture, so you'll get a better understanding about what is in the text. So London, Greenwich City is 12 noon on Monday. So as you can see, Greenwich is located in the prime meridian. So it is Greenwich mean time is 12 noon. It's a Monday. So Sri Lanka, it's 5:30 p.m. And also it's in Monday. The Texas states of America, it's 6 a.m. It's Monday. So there is western longitudes and eastern longitudes. It's in the international dateline, as you can see, it's 12 midnight or on Monday or Tuesday daybreak. So you can see there is a time difference in eastern longitude 180 in eastern longitude. So there the 12 midnight or on Monday or a Tuesday daybreak. It can be 12 midnight on Monday or it can be Tuesday daybreak in the eastern longitudes. In the western longitudes, it's 12 daybreak on Monday or Sunday midnight. So it means they are in Sunday. So what you have to remember is in the international dateline 180 degrees, it separates two calendar days. So east to west gain a day and west to east lose a day. So you will gain a day. So it means if you are traveling crossing the international dateline, so you will gain a day. So it means you can time travel in east to west. So it is you will gain a day. Yes. So earlier we discussed the Western countries. Will experience the sun later, and the Eastern countries will experience the sun earlier. So due to
Excuse me,
rotation, yes.
teacher, in this one, it shows that the western 180 degrees longitude is Sunday and eastern
Yes.
longitude is Tuesday. So there's a 2 day time difference now. So
Yes.
you will
There is.
see in 2 days now.
Yes, it is considered. Yes, earlier we discussed that therefore when crossing the 180 longitude, the clock should be adjusted accordingly as there's a difference on 1 day on either side of it. It means that the Sunday or Sunday midnight also equal to 12 daybreak on Monday. So this time the 12 it is also we can consider as the daybreak on Monday, and also we can consider as Sunday midnight. So there is a time difference or separate two calendar days in east to west. So you will gain a day, west to east you will lose a day. So that's how there is a calendar date difference between the international date line. So it separates two calendar dates. Okay. So that's why if you are traveling, if you are crossing the international date line east to west, you will gain a day. And if you're traveling west to east, you will lose a day. Okay. If you are crossing it east to west, you will gain a day. And west to east, you will lose a day. So that is a must that you should remember.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes. Yes.
Teacher, what means hemisphere?
Hmm?
What means hemisphere?
Hemisphere means earlier we discussed the equator divide the earth into two hemispheres. So the countries located in the north part, we call them northern hemisphere, and the countries located in the south, we call it southern hemisphere. And also there is a reference point which is we consider as the prime meridian or the Greenwich line. So by Greenwich line, it is divided into eastern and western hemisphere. So you can see there is a direction between west. The countries located in the western part, we call it western hemisphere, and the countries located in the eastern part, we call them eastern hemisphere. So normally the countries like the Asian region and the Australia, those countries are located in the eastern hemisphere. And the countries like North America, South America, and some parts of Africa, those countries are located in the western hemisphere. So they will experience the sun relatively late when comparing to eastern countries. So that part we discussed at the beginning. Okay. So the Greenwich Mean Time, GMT. Yes.
Sri Lanka is eastern country, right, teacher?
Yes, Sri Lanka is located in the eastern longitudes. So this eastern hemisphere is also equal to the eastern longitudes. So Sri Lanka is located in the eastern longitudes. It means Sri Lanka is located in the eastern hemisphere. So what you need to do is you have to look at a map. So you will get a good understanding about this. And what you have to remember is in the international date line, there is a concept that if you are traveling from east to west, you will gain a day, and if you are traveling from west to east, you will lose a day. That's a must. So there is a that we can say if you are traveling from east to west, there will more than 24 hours. So you will have the day is long if you travel from east to west, and if you travel from west to east, you will lose a day, and it means the day is shorter. So it is not 24 hours, it is short than 24 hours. So if you're traveling east to west, you will gain a day, which means the day is long. It is not 24 hours, it is more than 24 hours. That's why we say if you travel from east to west, you will gain a day, and you can, it's like a time travel. You can travel time if you cross the international date line from east to west. And if you travel it from west to east, it's going to be, your day will be short. That is what you need to remember, that international date line separates two calendar dates. Okay. So then we are going to discuss about the Greenwich Mean Time. So Greenwich Mean Time is the time that is registered at Greenwich, England, and Greenwich Mean Time is another name for it is the universal time. So earlier we discussed as it as the Greenwich Mean Time. Now we call it the universal time, UT. So the location east are plus hours, and the location west are minus hours from Greenwich Mean Time. So that you also need to remember. The countries like Africa and North America, South America, those countries are located in the western hemisphere. So the location west are decrease hours, and the location east, the countries like Sri Lanka and India, so these countries, the location east are plus hours. So that's how we are going to calculate the time. So on 1st November 1884, the Greenwich Meridian was adopted universally at the International Meridian Conference in Washington, D.C., USA. As a result, Greenwich Mean Time became the time standard, and the 24 time zones were created. Okay. So if the 180 longitude is marked as a straight line, it divides some countries. Then these countries may face an inconvenience in using the same date for the whole country. As a solution, 100-degree longitude, which is also the international date line, IDL, is marked avoiding crossing these countries. So international date line is not a straight line. So earlier some of the students came up with this thing that he explained that it is not a straight line. Yes, it's true, it is not a straight line, and then these countries may face an inconvenience is using the same date for the whole country. As a solution, 180 longitude, which is also the international date lines, IDL, is marked avoiding crossing these countries. So standard time, The Earth has been divided into 24 regions or time zones on the basis of longitudes for the use of internationally accepted standard time. Usually, a standard time is used in each of the zones. But there are large countries that extend over several time zones in the world. The United States of America, Canada, Australia, and Russia are some of them. The time zone relevant to the particular region is used in these countries. So as you know, the United States of America, Canada, Australia, Russia, these countries are very large and they have big landmass. So because of that, they can't use they are not into one time zone. There may be 2 or 3 time zones. To avoid differences in time in a same state, the time zone relevant to the particular region is used in these countries. So that is also you need to remember. Okay. So next we are going to discuss about the time zone which Sri Lanka belongs to. So the Sri Lanka belongs to the 5th time zone. So Sri Lanka is located at 80 degrees east longitude. So Sri Lanka is located 80 degrees east longitude. To pass of one longitude, it takes 4 minutes. So earlier we discussed to pass a one longitude, it takes 4 minutes. So what you have to do is you have to multiply 80 by 4. So you get the answer as 320. So it is in minutes. So for one longitude it takes 4 minutes. So what you have to do is you have to find the answer for how many minutes will it take for 80 longitudes. So in order to find that, you have to multiply 80 by 4. So you get the answer as 320. So that answer you have to divide it by 60 because the answer you get in minutes. So in order to convert minutes into hours, what you have to do is you have to divide 320 by 16. So you get the answer as 5 hours and 30 minutes. So as it is in east longitude, time should added to the Greenwich meridian. So the Sri Lanka is located in the eastern longitude. So what you have to do is you have to add this 5 hours 30 minutes to Greenwich meridian time or the Greenwich mean time. So Greenwich mean time is 12 noon. So you are adding 5 hours 30 minutes to